Good morning, Knicks Nation. Today is Thursday. The 14th day of July, 2022. It's Thursday morning. We are in Richmond, Virginia, on our way to Florida, relocating to Florida. And overnight, I wake up to this morning to all kind of news. Knicks Twitter blowing up. Apparently, Walt Perrin mentioning, I don't know if it's legit, but he's mentioning that the Knicks have stockpiled young assets and draft picks. But the real news is that Shams reported, and again, if it's Ian Begley, Shams, or Wojnarowski, and on this particular subject, all three have now reported. Shams reported that the Utah Jazz are focused on talks with the Knicks on Donovan Mitchell. Now, let's talk about this. All right. First off, some of you guys, and this is one of the educational opportunities for people in Knick Nation. For example, the other day I mentioned to someone about Jalen Brunson coming to the Knicks because he was going to get the keys to the car. And some people didn't understand what I meant by that. So let me explain when I say the keys. That means he's given the ball. He's given the responsibilities of someone that would be acting as if he's a team captain. He's the de facto leader of the team on the floor. He's the general. He's the straw that stirs the pot. He calls the plays. He's a coach on the floor. That's what I mean by say somebody gets the keys. And they're leaving the responsibility of the success on the floor in large part to his decision making. Okay. So Jalen Brunson came to the Knicks because he was going to get the keys. He was going to be that guy. It doesn't mean he's going to be Michael Jordan or Stephen Curry and carry us on his back, but it means that he is the leader. He is the guy that calls the plays. He's the guy that sets the offense. He's going to tell Julius Randle where on the floor he should be and have no problem doing that. That is why they signed Jalen Brunson. Now, that's cool. But somebody say, well, what about Donovan Mitchell? Now, let's get before I even go there. The Knicks now have a stockpile of draft assets. How did they get that? See, this is why it's education for Knicks Nation today. How did they get the draft assets that they have to put them in the best position of any team in the NBA to get Donovan Mitchell or Kevin Durant? How did they do that? Well, it started with Steve Mills. See, some of y'all need to take your emotions out of it and look at it the way it is. Steve Mills traded Kristaps Porzingis. And in trading Kristaps Porzingis, he got number 1 picks and shedded salary. That's how it started. And Steve Mills had a press conference where he promised he would not trade first round picks. Why was that important? Because Isaiah Thomas was giving them away like candy. That's why. And so we had lost so many first round picks and we weren't getting first round picks. And so he promised to not do that. And that's important if you are trying to build a long-term sustainable winner. So that's how it started. But then you get the Dom. And this cat was not only not trading first round picks, he was accumulating more. Okay. He was accumulating more. And for all y'all whining on draft night about how he got 3 picks and they're so heavily protected, they're basically worthless. Let's stop being stupid. He used a player he didn't want. Listen to me. He used a player he didn't want in Jalen Duren and turned it into first round picks. Which he now has 3 that the Knicks didn't have before. The one we got from Dallas was Steve Mills, and 2 more we got, one from Milwaukee, 3 more, one from Milwaukee, one from Washington, one from Detroit. And let me tell you something. All of them are going to convey in the next 3 years. All of them going to convey. Okay? All that protection don't mean nothing. Them teams they're going to convey. So you basically got the Kristaps Porzingis from Dallas pick for 2023. Then you got a Detroit, Milwaukee, and a Washington pick. And let me tell you something. He can send all 4 of them to Utah, and it ain't going to do nothing to us because we have all our own picks. So he sends 4 of those picks to Utah, and he accumulated a whole bunch of second-round picks. And we have, aside from that, okay, so Steve Mills and them, they got Mitchell Robinson, right? They got R.J. Barrett. But then you got Quentin Grimes, Emmanuel Quickley, Obi Toppin, Deuce McBride, Cam Reddish. You have all of these guys that have been acquired by the Knicks, mostly through the draft, from the current management. Okay? Joko Bidas. Okay? Jericho Sims, 58, who now everybody's raving about. That's Walt Perrin. That's Leon Rose. And I've been telling y'all, that's Brock Aller. We got a crack front office team, no pun intended, but we got a really strong front office. That's how you build a team that's going to win championships. You start with a front office that knows what they're doing. These guys do. Okay? So just looking at the work, what they've acquired, how they put themselves in this position. And what I like about what they're doing is they go for the sure thing. He's like, Jalen Brunson was a sure thing for them. They knew it before we knew it. Why? And now it becomes clearer to me anyway, why the whole Nick Brass keeps showing up at the Summer League games. I've never seen that. In all my years of watching the NBA, I've never seen the president of basketball operations, the general manager, the head of scouting. I've never seen all of them at a Summer League game together. Like you might see it if they drafted Brandon Ingram. You know, the Lakers drafted a Brandon Ingram, or they get another number 1 type guy. You know, you might see it then. But the Knicks didn't do that, and they have all these guys. Why? They know they're going to have to give up some young players to get Donovan Mitchell. We'll talk more about that in a second. But more importantly, I'm not speaking on it from who they're giving up. They also know that going forward, some of these young players are going to be part of their bench rotation. And so they're going to have to depend on them as part of the bench. And that's why you see them. Especially the 3 major ones that they're looking at now. Grimes, Sims, and Deuce. Okay? So now let's talk about the trade itself. All right, let's talk brass tacks. This video, really, I was giving y'all the education. Some of y'all don't appreciate what you have in the front office. You have, I'm going to wait until they trade Randall. I'm going to wait until they trade Fournier. Y'all need to keep waiting until they win the championship, or just shut up and get out my channel because y'all don't know what you're talking about. Appreciate the art while it's being formed. Appreciate the journey. See, you get to the end of the deal when you appreciate a journey. That's in life general. That's a little life one here. When you appreciate the journey that you took to get to where you're going, man, that's how you enjoy it. All right. It's about a lot about the journey itself. And we're in the journey right now. Some of y'all are not recognizing this man is doing work and accumulating these picks and accumulating these young players. He's doing work. Okay. So, and been doing it. So first, the rapist. I don't know if I can say that on YouTube. Okay. The rip-off artist. I can say that on YouTube. Y'all in New York understand that. The rip-off artist, that is Danny Ainge. The pro rip-off artist. Let me tell you. He's met his match. The Don is here. And he got his crew behind him. Okay, he got Clemenza. He got everybody behind him. He got Michael Corleone. He got everybody behind him. So we ain't worried about the rip-off artist. So now, let's talk about Donovan Mitchell. 6'1", dynamic. I mean, we can't deny he's a dynamic player. I don't know if he going to carry us to the promised land or not. But one thing I do know, the young man can ball. I think we all understand that. So we're going to have an undersized backcourt. I guess I'm talking like it's going to get done. We're going to have an undersized backcourt. Okay, 2 6'1" dudes. So let's talk about who's off the table. There's several players off the table, and I'm telling you why. I'm going to tell you why. It's not all the same reasons, but there's several players off the table for different reasons. Number one, RJ Barrett's off the table because he's RJ Barrett, because he's our number 2 overall pick, because we're developing, because we're a new culture, because RJ Barrett's off the table. Okay? That's not going to happen. Mitchell Robinson's off the table because he just signed an extension and he can't be traded until December. I think the same can be said for Jericho Sims. He's not going anywhere either. So they're off the table. Jalen Brunson's off the table because they just signed him. So he's off the table. So Brunson's off the table. Mitchell Robinson's off the table. RJ Barrett is off the table for different reasons. Like RJ's our guy. Mitch Rob just re-signed. Brunson just came as a free agent. They can't trade him right yet, not until December. Okay, so those guys, Brunson, Mitchell Robinson, RJ off the table. And Sims, Jericho Sims. Deuce McBride is off the table, and I'm saying that because nobody knows him. He's second round pick, $1.5 million this year. He's not a major piece in a blockbuster. Okay, so he's off the table. That's why I think they're really watching him in Summer League. And we'll talk more about that in a second. Now, that means everybody else is on the table. Now, between Randall, Fournier, and Rose, one of them at least is getting traded. And why? The salary. See, so Donovan Mitchell, I didn't look up his salary, but I think he's in that $35 million range this year. I think he's in that $36 million range. So you got to match the salary. So you need one of them at least, or two of them, to match the salary. Okay, so you're going to have that. So one of them are going to be traded. There's no doubt. Okay, so one of those three or two of them, and I don't know which two, but I'm telling you, they're on the table and one of them's going in this trade. Then all of the young people except for RJ, Mitch Rob, and Deuce are on the table. All of the young people are on the table. Now, they're not going to take everybody. Okay, they can't. I mean, the Don won't let them. So, but I think we can safely say out of Obi Toppin, Cam Reddish, Emmanuel Quickley, and Quentin Grimes, two of them are going. If I'm the Don, I'm keeping Grimes or Cam. I got to keep one of them. And the reason I got to keep one of them is because I got 2-6-1 starting guards. I need somebody to come in that second unit that's going to bring some length and some defense. Okay. That's Grimes and Cam. So I'm keeping one of them at least. So if one of them goes, the other one is staying. And then there's Emmanuel Quickley. And that's why I see they're looking at Deuce more closely. If they trade Quickley, and let's say they trade Quickley and Cam, then you're going to have Deuce and Grimes, two defenders coming off your bench in your second unit with Obi. I don't think they want to trade Obi either. I don't think the Don wants to give up Obi. It was his first pick. So I'm thinking Obi's probably going to still remain a Knick. But between Cam and Grimes and Emmanuel Quickley, two of those guys are going to go. Okay, so let's talk about this. Let's get overall. So at least one of Randall, Evan Fournier, and Derrick Rose is going because of the salary. You got to have at least one of them going, maybe two. Okay, you're going to have two kids. Okay, and I'm thinking between Quick, Grimes, and Cam. Two of those are going. Two of those three are going. Okay. Then you're going to give them all the picks you just acquired. That's not your picks. So you're going to give them the Dallas pick. You're going to give them the Detroit pick. You're going to give them the Washington pick, and you're going to give them the Milwaukee pick. Then you're going to give them one of yours. Whichever. It could be 2024's first rounder unprotected. You're going to give them one of yours. Then you're going to give them the right to swap in the future. Maybe in 2025 they could swap. because they'll be a lottery team. So in 2025, they could swap with you. That's probably the parameters. So let's talk about it again. So one at least of Randall, Evan Fournier, or Derrick Rose is going. For salary purposes, one of them are going. If not two. I could see Fournier and Rose going. Okay? Depending. I know Randall, I'd like to see Randall gone, but I'm just looking at it purely from the money perspective at this particular time. So I'm not talking about who I want. I'm talking about who's going based on money and logic. Listen to me carefully. So we're dealing with three of those guys that have the salary that's going to be needed to make this deal happen because of Donovan Mitchell's salary. So you're going to have at least one of them leaving. I suspect Fournier would be the guy that they get off of, because Fournier is the longest, not the longest, Randall is, but Fournier is 2 years, $36 million versus Rose is 1 year, $14 million. So I think Fournier will be the guy, but you're going to get one of those three at least are going. Fournier, Randall, or Rose because of the money. You're going to get two young people going. Mitchell Robinson's off the table. Jericho Sims is off the table. And RJ Barrett's off the table. So that's off the table. They've already, in fact, Ian Begley, just for y'all not on the know yet, Ian Begley already reported yesterday the Knicks took RJ Barrett off the table. So he's not going to be traded. So now you're going to get two young players going back to Utah. So you're talking about two of Obi Toppin, Manuel Quickley, Quentin Grimes, Cam Reddish, or Deuce McBride. I took Deuce off the table. He ain't going nowhere unless Utah's already scouted him like I did and know how and are high on him. I don't think he's going anywhere. His salary doesn't matter. It will be a fill-in at best. So, and not only that, they've played the other guys that I've mentioned, the Grimes, the Cam Reddish, the Obi Toppin, and the Manuel have played many more minutes on the big stage as far as the regular league. So they're more known commodities. I don't think Obi's going because Leon picked him first. That's his first number one pick. He ain't going nowhere. And he loves New York. He ain't going nowhere. Quick, Cam, Grimes. Now, Utah would want Grimes. I mean, anybody is going to want Grimes. Grimes is good. We got a steal at the end of the first round last year in getting Quentin Grimes. I knew he was going to be good, and he is. Okay. So we're talking about Grimes, Cam, and IQ. Two of those three guys are going to be going to Utah. Okay. Then you're going to give them all four of the picks you just acquired for a player you didn't want. Or three of them that you acquired in moves that started with the 11th pick and ended up with 3 firsts. That's how it ended up. Whatever you want to say, we started off with the 11th pick in this past draft. We ended up with 3 firsts. And so 3 future firsts. So you got them 3 plus the Dallas pick that we got from, thank you, Steve Mills and Kristaps Porzingis. So you're going to give them 4. They're going to want one of ours. So we give them one of ours, whichever year, 2024, I would think. And then a future swap opportunity. So which swap means, let me just explain what that means. That means they have the right to change places with you. Like if you draft in, if you happen to get a top 10 pick and they were 20, they could switch places. Okay. That's a swap. So they have the right to swap in 1 year. We don't lose our pick. We still have it. So let's talk about the whole package now. Because if I was to just blurt out the package, it would sound too crazy. But the package is going to be, let's say, Evan Fournier, Cam Reddish, and Manuel Quickley. Okay, Evan Fournier, Cam Reddish, and Manuel Quickley. 5 first rounders plus a pick swap. And that's it. And you're getting back Donovan Mitchell. You may have to get back another player to fill the salary if the Knicks put in another salary. Like if they were to trade Rose and Fournier, that right there is $31 million. That would almost match the salary. But then if we're throwing in young players, they got to send back something to keep the salaries matched. So that would be, they'll send back some young players. Or they might send back a guy, I don't know, it's one of the guys they just acquired from Minnesota. I don't know, but the salary's got to match. So the parameters of the deal is at least one of Randall, Fournier, and Rose, maybe two, depending. If they traded Randall, which I don't think they're going to do, they might, but we'll see. Because if they traded Randall, they could keep Fournier and Rose, because Randall's salary with the youngins gets it done. But I don't think they're going to trade Randall, and I'll tell you why. Utah is looking to rebuild, so they're not looking at long-term pieces. They're moving Donovan Mitchell because they're looking to rebuild. So they're more interested in picks and people that's got shorter-term deals. If because of what we'd be giving them, they'd have to take Evan Fournier off our hands, which is only 2 years, $36 million. So they probably take Fournier and Rose, probably. And then you're going to deal with probably two of Cam, Grimes, and Emmanuel Quickly. Two of those three are going to Utah. Okay. They probably are pushing for Grimes. I can see that. And I don't mind us keeping Cam Reddish. I told you, Cam Reddish got more talent than, to me, anybody on the Knicks. Natural talent. But man, I don't want to give up Grimes either. But this is it's going to be painful in that regard. You're going to lose two of Quickly, Grimes, and Reddish. Two of them are going. Then you got 4 picks that you acquired, your own number one, and a swap, which you're not losing, you're just changing. So you're really giving them 5 picks and 2 young players and probably 1 or 2 veterans for the salary. And that gets us Donovan Mitchell. That's the deal. And I think that's probably around the parameters that's going to get it done, because Ainge just met his match. He ain't going to rip us off. And so he's going to be able to walk away and say he got 5 first-round picks, 4 of which we didn't even, we only losing 1 of our picks. So 2023, we'd have our pick, 2025, 2026, 2027, 2028. We got our picks, our number 1s and our number 2s. Okay. So we have that, but we'd lose the ones that the Don has acquired. Okay. Which is why he acquired them. But so what we have left, we're starting Jalen Brunson, Donovan Mitchell. Okay. RJ Barrett, Mitchell Robinson, Julius Randle. Our bench would be Obi Toppin, Deuce McBride, Cam Reddish. Okay. Or Quentin Grimes. That's the bench we're going to have. Hey, I like that. And we still have our Isaiah Hartenstein, and we still have Jericho Sims. So we would be in pretty good shape, after that. We'd have a short backcourt. Okay. Short backcourt. But, there's no denying that these guys are both very dynamic players. So, you're not going to have the perfect team. You're not going to have the perfect team, but you're going to have a very competitive team. So again, let's look over it. So you're talking about Jalen Brunson, that's still your point guard, and your 2 guard is going to be Donovan Mitchell. You're going to have RJ Barrett. You're going to have Mitchell Robinson, and you're going to have Julius Randle. In this particular scenario, this is what I like in Randall's position in that scenario. He's the 3rd option. He's the 3rd option, or at least 3A, because you got Brunson. Brunson shoots. I mean, he shoot first, and so does Mitchell. So they're your first 2 options. RJ's taking that step forward. That's why they're not trading him. He's taking a step forward this year. So now Julius becomes very good in that scenario. It depends on his attitude. But he becomes, if he don't get traded and he's in that scenario, he's a 3rd or a 4th option. And that makes him very dangerous. You try to deal with him one-on-one. He's a load, man. So it's all in his head. If he comes to play as the 3rd option, the Knicks are going to be pretty good. They're going. And then you got your Obi Toppin, Deuce, Cam, or Grimes coming off the bench. And then possibly Derrick Rose too. And Jericho Sims, Isaiah Hartenstein behind them. I think we'd be in really good shape, Knicks Nation. I'm definitely seeing a 50-win team. So, we're talking about top 7 in the East. I can see 6th or 7th, definitely. So I'm liking what I'm seeing here. I would have never thought that this could get done. And the reason I would have never thought it could get done, because at the time I thought it couldn't get done, Danny Ainge wasn't with Utah. He was with Boston. They didn't trade Rudy Gobert. But once they traded Rudy Gobert, all bets are off. Now everything changes. Okay. I would have never thought they would have traded a Donovan Mitchell, but it's on. And the Knicks are the prime candidate. There's nobody else that we're competing with. And that's the thing. Yesterday, I forgot the heavyset dude's name that's on ESPN. Brian Windbags, whatever his name is. But he said that Utah has just been posturing to get the best deal from the Knicks because nobody else out there has the Knicks package that we can offer. And don't think that Leon Rose doesn't know that. Don't think that he walked into the game setting up the chessboard to be in this position. Because he did. The ripoff artist has met his match in the Dom. So now we're going to get a good deal. And I think it's going to be based on what I just told you. And if it ends up like that, we're a 50-win team. And it depends on how effective the Brunson Mitchell backcourt will be. And I think it's going to be effective in the sense that even though it's small ball, those two cats are good. They're really good. Defensively, we're going to have some challenges, but that's why it's important you keep a Grimes and a Deuce coming off your bench. That's why it's important because you're going to be able to shore up your defense. That's why it's important you re-sign a Mitch Robb. And Obi is improved on defense. I don't know why people are still sleeping on his defense. He could play defense now. And so, that's why you have a Tom Thibodeau system. So again, it's not the perfect scenario. Obviously you would want a 6'6" guard back there with a 6'4" guard. Both of them can play both ways, blah, 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 right? But we got two midgets, but it's okay. We're going to have to work with that. But we could become a 50-win team. We still have our own first round picks. Okay. And we have, young players, our starting unit, 25, 25, 22, 24. 27. That's our starting unit. Okay. That's pretty good. Okay. That's pretty good. You're young enough to grow, develop, get better. And, the West is going to be what the West has traditionally been this year, a complete dogfight in the West. The East is not easy now, but it's not going to be like the West. And so this team in the East, I like it. I like it a lot. So we're going to see how this works out, but I'm feeling like now this is going to get done. And I'm feeling, because it's pretty clear cut. If Ainge only thing that's not going to cause it to get done, if Ainge decides to take Mitchell off the market. If he decides to take him off the market, there's be other ramifications behind that, which we'll talk about. But that's the only way it doesn't get done. It's going to get done. And it's pretty clear what I just explained to you are the parameters of that deal. Because the Don's not getting ripped off. Okay, he ain't taking no shorts. Y'all have a good Thursday. We're going to see how this works out later. Shalom.